My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. RNA 245. Cisco. Cisco is gang stalking, creating light activity, facilitating light activity, while the City of Ontario is pacing by a commercial plane over the same street as I'm at 415 North Euclid Avenue. That's license plate PA 41396, and that is an Indiana plate. Again, that's PA 41396. It is 6:57 p.m. You'll see the images of what is light activity facilitating. While you hear these same demons that are always stalking with light, they do so with regard to maintenance of flashing light. This is what they're doing on video at ARCO while they're monitoring the upload of the podcast in the middle of the night. This is what they're doing when they're parked alongside Euclid Avenue. This is what QCD is doing with regard to both the corrupt business of QCD and Starbucks, who are together gang stalking in the midst of making a delivery of inventory in concert with the government. That's gang stalking in the same way that the City of Ontario is doing in the facilitating environment with the demons that are pacing up and down Euclid Avenue. It's the P.O.C. It's currently 6:58 a.m. and it is Friday, August 15, 2025, and that demon honks his horn as I swipe my screen. That's a simultaneity of audible activity. These are demons who are monitoring. Monitoring is the maintenance of activity that is coinciding, occurring with simultaneity to physical movement, operation of a communication device and or internet. And it's occurring in the specific environment where the P.O.C. is under, where the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring. Gang stalkers are demons. This is demonic activity. Let me give you one more license plate while I'm at it. License 8WLB400, P.O.C. That is 82574K3. Monitoring by making a purchase from Chevron, engaging in surveillance at gas pump number 1, located at 506 North Euclid Avenue in Ontario, California. P.O.C. U.S.C. 620 14741E4. This is surveillance by ARCO, who is monitoring while Allied Universal and while Frontier, gang stalking third parties, are filling up at the adjacent property, gang stalking simultaneously. License plate. Oh, we've got no license plate on the vehicle where demons know that they're being documented. These are corrupt businesses that you do need to know are engaging in surveillance, though. So let me go ahead and capture this for you. It's what it looks like. This is P.O.C. That's activity creation. That's Frontier, that is monitoring American citizens. And Frontier hires demons who are monitoring American citizens. And they're also engaging in what is monitoring you while they provide internet service. Just so that you know, this is P.O.C. And this is, again, a demon that's engaging in what is the pattern of conduct and the absence of a license plate, which, again, the gang stalkers, the Ontario Police, they're not going to capture that because they're co-defendants with the Ontario Police. The Ontario Police Department are criminals. Okay, this is P.O.C. Again, I'm going to capture the private security state license, and let me show you the demons that are hovering in airplanes where you saw the Google map, where the demons are stalking as I'm walking from the library last night on Lemon Avenue. As I take that back street, so do the planes. Stalking with airplanes is the outward demonstration of mental illness. These are demons that are mentally ill. They're sick. They're stalkers. And they're also engaging in the, what you're witnessing is a failed sacrifice, but the airlines are a means of corrupt businesses because they ritualistically commit sacrifices which are reported on the news as plane crashes, accidents, which are then the discussion of publicized hearings regarding, quote unquote, what happened, where domestic terrorism is happening in this country regularly. And the propaganda that we are fed is that some sort of explanation that can be discussed in a civilized manner, all right, by the government, while they're engaging what is profiting off of the sacrifices that are made unto Satan. And that's relevant to the demons that are stalking me. In furtherance of conspiracy to murder, that is a sacrifice unto Satan. And this is a demonic pattern of conduct, where gang stalking using commercial planes is a core aspect of the pattern of conduct. and companies like Allied Universal, Frontier, and the demons that are using commercial airlines that are engaging in the pattern of conduct in the United States. And they're flying in the United States and also into other countries. So this is happening abroad as well. 9JES 298. It's currently 7:09 a.m. Engaging in surveillance in the parking lot. This is a psychopath. Plane activity as I walk toward them. So I'm going to go ahead and capture the image of criminal surveillance. I'm going to document for criminal monitoring with the government. You'll see the image of a large commercial plane also doing a donut over this parking lot. 7 MAM 913. This is federal stalking under Title 18. And you can hear the plane activity. If the planes were engaging in legitimate conduct and this were not a gang stalking third party, there's no plane activity that's going to be over this parking lot. It's the same thing when they're flying over the Ovid Family Community Library and including doing donuts over the Ovid Family Community Library because I am at the Ovid Community Library. This is P.O.C. Remember when I'm even more, you're understanding stalking because when I'm at Woodside Senior Apartments, which is much north of this location, they are flying farther north, hovering throughout the city, stalking, and then engaging in what is rising in elevation as though you're taking off and nobody knows that the airport's located at 2500 Airport Drive and that a sharp incline into that airspace does not include any sort of flight north of that airport, northwest of that airport, miles away in other words, to engage in any hovering plane activity. These are the demons that are engaging in openly sacrificing an American citizen, except that this is the failed sacrifice and I'm not dead. I'm telling you about it in real time. All right, license 7VIM224. Gang stalking is committed by demons. And it's government action. It's the government's criminal system. License 8NRX862. This lost puppy is placed in the parking lot. Monitoring 6YQL409. Wearing a bright yellow neon vest. License 7XPJ132. 75398P3. 5ULV778. 93739Y3. 89185S2. 6FMH325. 8HVM509. 9JYR442. They're all gang stalking while the entity is flying over their vehicles, stalking me. And doing so like they were flying over the San Bernardino County Housing Authority off of Lemon Avenue last night. As I walk north, so do the planes progress. That's literally the evidence of stalking. That's what stalking is from place to place. 4RPG 984. It is currently 7:12 a.m. That's the entity that's engaging in what is activity creation while a property, a venue, is sharing in the pattern of conduct. Like when I'm at the hotel and the entity sounds a fire alarm, that's light activity. And they like to do that with regard to getting excited about my vagina. When I'm engaged in any private activity inside of a hotel room, the fire alarm is a means where all the demons inside of the whole building are engaging in what is monitoring to that. And it's a means of what is criminal summoning. Even where the gang stalking fire department does not arise. It's a means of criminal summoning. It's currently 7:12 a.m. and the entity is sounding loud alarm. This is P.O.C. 9DKL242, 9HW8291, 320 North Euclid Avenue is gang stalking. I'm going to get this sex offender engaging in surveillance in the parking lot. While the entity is, this is a psychopath sitting around aiming light. These are the weirdos that are sex offenders. These are the pedophiles that are engaging in the satanic system. And these are demons that are engaging in the pattern of conduct and furtherance of murder. This is a sacrifice that they're engaging in. And it's a failed sacrifice, and they're going to be prosecuted for it. A license is 6HFS746, 5NUZ512. And this is EF80V94 paper, City of Ontario. Those are the demons engaging in that. That's the municipality, and Paul Leon is going to be removed for having demons engaging in what is a sacrifice of American citizens, whom he is gang stalking in concert. And he's also gang stalking at the city's City Hall, where this demon is sitting around under the fake sun, monitoring me all day long, while a bunch of psychopaths who you saw patrolling out of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library last night and Engineer Light, while the Ontario International Airport hovers over the library, where it is clear evidence by the feds who are going to prosecute this case, and I'm going to get justice, and you are going to witness it. And there are clear, with regard to the legitimate operations of the Ontario International Airport, there are no flights that are going to occur over the airport. Over the library, over the parking lot of the library, over the senior citizen complex adjacent to the library, over the Ontario Town Square, south of the library, over the City Hall, which is north of the library. That would be west of the library. It's the same plaza, and the Ontario Town Square is, the City Hall is east of the Ovid Family Community Library, and the Town Square is west of the Ovid Family Community Library, meaning it's right in front, the City Hall is right behind, and it's the same plaza. All right, it is currently 7:15 a.m. where I've already captured the fake sun here in the morning. And here is the Ovid Family Community Library is where I'm at right now, the entrance. I've already captured the fake sun while I'm standing at this venue. This is July 15, 2025. In the morning, the fake sunrise, July 14, 2025, and that's just as of late. There is a history of documentation that's already on the record, while the entity is adding to the pool of defendants for those who are going to federal prison. They're not passing go collecting $200, they're going straight to federal prison. But the entity is engaging in gang stalking under the fake sun that's rising during the so-called police training on July 14, 2025 at 7:15 in the morning at where I am standing facing this same venue on the opposite side of the same block, C Street in Euclid, where you're looking at the fake sun, and it's I'm facing it, and I'm looking at the Ovid Family Community Library, and that's where the fake sun is over the top of my head at the Ovid Family Community Library 5 hours later, and that's where it is at that same intersection, C Street in Euclid, where I'm present at 7:15 in the morning, looking in the direction east, and when I'm looking in the direction west at that same block, I'm looking at the same fake sun within a span of 12 hours. That the sun's not going anywhere, and it's a poor effort at what is an illusion, but it is absolutely an illusion, but it's an illusion that is very obvious to you, and that's why I show you these things. The fake sun that is stalking in the path with regard to evidence of everybody stalking, demons that are stalking. The fake sun is over at 7 in the morning. You will see that same fake sun at that same address over the top of my head. That is in its quote-unquote zenith 4 hours later. And you will see that fake sun merely on the opposite side of my person at that same address in the same manner that it was in the morning, where it was quote-unquote rising, where it's going from a sunrise and a sunset, rising in the east and setting in the west at one address. And that's breaking down an illusion where the demon-possessed are gang stalking. These are dead people that are gang stalking. You need to understand, dead people have a lot of companies that are successful in the United States. In fact, dead people are the ones that are sacrificing American citizens in order that they have successful businesses, in order that they have wealth, okay? In order that they have what are ideas that they want, like my intellectual property, like my inheritance, my money. And this is how dead people are engaging in stealing wealth and then acting as though it belongs to them in the first place. These are psychopaths. These are pedophiles. They also have an affinity for sex with children, all right? And they are mentally ill. They like to the dead present as being what the United States, what the propaganda in this country wants you to be conditioned to believe is sane, healthy, normal, not dangerous. And they're the demon-possessed, all right? And by the way, when you're getting to the pattern of conduct and you're looking at the demons that are malicious, the dead that are gang stalking while wanting to, within the corrupt system of federal group stalking monitoring, it's public corruption. So it's happening amongst the society. It's happening in everything, everywhere, at all times. You're understanding what is the illusion of sanity, mental sanity, normalcy, healthy behavior, the cloak that the dead are wearing while they're gang stalking with their 2 kids and their newborn in their arms, while they are with the government that's stalking in a helicopter at the same time, stalking in commercial planes. All of this is clearly, it's obvious, it's already outlined with regard to the pattern of conduct that's surrounding, and then you hone in on the demons who are absolutely psychopathic and delusional also, because the jig is up, everyone is watching, and the entity is also wildly corrupt in trying to, what I've been discussing as of late, delaying justice. And they're going to be penalized for that, federally penalized. It's going to be prosecution for it. All right, it's currently 7:19 a.m. This is the dead, the living dead, the demon possessed. They're already dead. They have dead spirits in them. They engage in dead behaviors. Dead behaviors consist of those that are essentially illusions presented to people that don't know what it is that they are surrounded by and what's actually going on, relying on what is merely the physical appearance of that thing. And that is important to be aware of, because Satan is relying on illusions, and illusions are going to become, for example, the AI 3D imagery of pictures of people on the internet, and it's not even a picture. It's essentially cartoon images, but they look very human. You're talking about the computer that can think on its own, essentially simulating human beings. This is from the demon possessed that are monitoring American citizens and just want the removal of an independent conscience, given to you by the Lord God Almighty. Satan wants the person, Satan wants control of the mind, and Satan wants to remove that conscience. He just wants control of that person, that vessel. That is what is illustrated with regard to this AI phenomenon, this technological advancement with regard to AI and this imagery of people and the inability to tell the difference between what's real and what's not real anymore. That's a deliberate advancement, progression in technology, and illusions will become more and more powerful. And this is understanding what I'm showing you about the fake sun, what I'm showing you about engineered light. Look at that. That's not normal. That's not sunlight. And while you're looking at that surrounding me, understand that that's around you, a whole set of circumstances that are identical where you are at, because the fake sun is speaking to what is necessarily more than one fake sun that is over in Florida. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct in the entity, and yet everything is covered in sunlight throughout the country, everywhere where it's a sunny day. This is an entirely demonic system, and the dead fill this country, and they are engaging in what is wanting to exist unbeknownst to people like who are listening, you and I, who do not serve Satan, who are not filled with the spirit of Satan. And that is something that is also demonstrated through the absence of engaging in this pattern of conduct. And the demon possessed, I want to be clear, they are also engaged in denying. They are presenting just like innocent American citizens who are being targeted, as opposed to the demon possessed that are engaged in targeting. They will, with a straight face, I'm showing you what are psychopaths. I don't serve Satan. And by the way, a lot of them are actually deceived. They don't even know that they have demons all over them. Their thoughts are controlled by Satan. Their decision to go into the mall and just sit around beating on objects to monitor random folks is because demons are telling them to do that. They're ignorant about that, but a lot of them are fully aware. They are fully in service to Satan, engaging in wicked things, which they believe is going to provide them blessings, advancement, like money. That's chiefly what the demon possessed are after. They worship money, and then they die, and then someone else takes that money. But the entity is engaging in what is conduct, and I'm telling you what are psychopaths. So until the day, unfortunately, of death, a demon will die denying what is obvious to everyone else. That's the whole purpose of this documentation. Everybody is watching. Everyone, there's no mystery either. And I'm also going to get justice. These demons are delusional with regard to delaying justice, and it's just going to dissolve and disappear, and then you're still going to accomplish the sacrifice, and nobody's going to say it's not happening. It's not happening. But what is happening is the grand exposure of massive corruption. Massive corruption. It's so corrupt that there is this level of confidence, which is what is relevant to the prosecution. This level of confidence, this level of continuation in the face of what is no longer any secrecy, knowledge that an American citizen is in the United States exposing corruption by a government, and that government persists with a population persisting in plain view.
Okay, there's no cloak of secrecy anymore. There's no mystery. There's no reasonable question, and you're looking at mental illness in that regard as well. Okay, but the demon possessed, you're talking about what is absolute denial. Oh no, I'm not. Okay, looking at somebody, in other words, the knife is in their hand, blood is all over the handle, dripping blood is on the ground. You're looking at blood smeared on their shirt, when with a straight face, absolutely denying the fact that they were there at the crime scene. I committed no such thing, and I would never do that. I can't even believe that you would accuse me of that. You know, I love you, and I love everyone that is in our family or in our circle. I did not kill this person that is lying there on the floor dead with 37 stab wounds to their face, to their neck, to their chest, and they're holding the knife. That's what the demon possessed do, right in your face, until the day they die. You're dealing with Satan, who is, again, the father of lies. That doesn't mean that he's the father of convincing lies. He just lies, period. He just lies. He cannot deal with facts, even those facts that are obviously exposing him. He is the father of lies. That is the spirit that is within the entity that is gang stalking. The demon possessed that are highly deceptive, no matter how unintelligent, no matter how obvious, no matter how plain it is. That is psychopathic, delusional. Okay, and the demon possessed are obsessed with the maintaining what is the illusion of normalcy, like someone that is not of that condition, like myself, that's pointing out what the demon possessed are doing, and that's irrelevant to the illusion as well. That is relevant to the illusion as well. And so it is requiring what is knowledge of Scripture, because the Word of God tells us about these times. The Word of God states that there is nothing new under the sun, by the way. And that would include the fake sun, the sacrifices of the demon possessed serving Satan. This is nothing new. And those that are familiar with that not only intellectually assent to the existence of God, that is not salvation, and who is only in the true and living God, who is Christ Jesus. And there is no other God beside him, and there is no salvation in it, under any other name at all. And one day every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that Jesus is Lord. This is going to happen. Even as you live a life serving an entirely fake, made-up God, a false God, that is idolatry. And you too, everyone is going to, there is no exclusion, there's no exception to that. Even as you live a life denying Christ, you will admit to the reality of Christ, to his deity, to his lordship. And with regard to this system, you need to understand that this is a matter of illusions. And so this is the bigger point that's surrounding you with illusions, and that's the purpose with regard to deception, with regard to the coming of Christ, with regard to keeping people in darkness, with regard to taking you out while you're still in that state of darkness, before you accept that free gift of salvation, before you get to that point, and you are deceived. All right. It is currently 7:26 a.m. The entity is maintaining audible activity. This is another tactic of the same. When Michael Gerken's crossing path and the gang stalkers in the fire truck, the gang stalkers in AMR ambulances, the gang stalkers maintaining ongoing amplified noise and pacing all around me at the Ontario Town Square while the fake sun is here. I've already documented that the entity is engaged in the same P.O.C. They're still stalking with light. They're doing so around the perimeter using methods of peculiarized light in particular, while the entity altogether is maintaining audible activity, light activity, and they're all stalking. The entity is engaging in gang stalking, and presence is always required. And these are demons that are engaging in that. This is P.O.C. It's currently 7:27 a.m. and it is August 15, 2025. I am at the Ontario Town Square. It's 224 North Euclid Avenue. This is All right, this is the city monitoring evidence that's being uploaded onto the venue of the internet, and flight is concentrated where I am located, which is at the Ontario Town Square, where relevant positioning of the people of the state are always maintained simultaneously. This is what Cisco is doing at 415 North Euclid Avenue, maintaining light activity. The people of the state are pacing along Euclid Avenue, up and down, north and south, and the entity is flying planes over, which was north of this location. And that's why you're able to hear it so loud, because if they were flying over 415 North Euclid Avenue, over that parking lot that I just walked through, then it wouldn't be sounding here right over the top of my head. This is plain stalking, and it's also Plain as in PLAIN as in obvious, and it's also plain stalking via planes. While they are monitoring, and again, the use of my internet is pursuant to the elements of monitoring. So this is not only evidence of stalking, while the planes are a means of flight over me, maintaining flight over me is pursuant to not only physical evidence of stalking in an extraordinarily demented manner and an expensive manner, which is speaking to the government, but it's also demonic. The maintenance of the elements of monitoring pursuant to where I'm located with simultaneity to my internet use, my uploading of evidence, that's also legally relevant because it's evidence, and it's also with regard to the use of communication devices. That's what I'm getting to. It's the elements of monitoring pursuant to use of my devices that is under surveillance, and this is demonic. And the people of the state are demons sitting around with their backs to me. They're stalking altogether at the town square, and traffic is stalking as well. The entire venue is stalking while the entity is maintaining an ongoing alarm. That's audible activity. Okay, it's 7:32 a.m. and the evidence to the Google Drive is what's being uploaded right now. The evidence to YouTube regarding federal stalking at ARCO at 434 North Euclid Avenue at 2:42 in the morning while I was uploading the podcast for August 14, 2025. That's what's uploading while the entity flies over by commercial flight. This is P.O.C. All right, the fake sun is shining at the Ontario Town Square. It's already known that the entity is stalking under a fake sun. License 8VAX675. These demons are stalking with impossible light. They're targeting me with, and their mental illness is shown while demons are stalking you with impossible light, like it's a laser game. These are psychopaths. These are what pedophiles practices, what the demon possessed are doing, and they're monitoring you. And this is government conduct, this mentally sick and depraved behavior pursuant to what is also demonic activity while they're stalking you, and they're also sex offenders. Maintaining a sexual obsession with you. These are demons that are stalking with light. In Wells Fargo, the establishment itself is engaging in that. This is a stalker 5YAK501 stalking with the means of flashing light while I'm being harassed with impossible light activity. That's a demon. 7FBH528. License plate 9HYX773. License 7KDL790. These are demons who are psychopaths and are hostile about everything that I publish on the venue of the internet about the sex offenders who are pedophiles engaging in the system of gang stalking amongst the demon possessed. And that's relevant to the ongoing terrorism and harassment with impossible light and stalking with noise, okay? And it's government conduct while the entity is clearly targeting as a corrupt operation, such as stalking me by the police department, the fire department, the airport, etc. License 64227F2, 9MHN22, excuse me, 9MHN922, 8VXF855, 72072M3, 9DGM825, 8YEU110, 8UGT371. Remember, I'm documenting pedophiles. That's what's gang stalking in California. These are pedophiles. 6SWU624. And that goes for the city of Ontario. That goes for the gang stalkers that are at the positions of leadership. These are pedophiles, and I've shown you their images. I have repeated their names so that you know who they are. I have shown you on video. I've documented the venues where the government is shown to be proven the building filled with what is demons under the fake sun targeting me by virtue of a whole fake environment that follows me as I go to any government building where a bunch of pedophiles are in government that are engaging in gang stalking throughout the city, and that is throughout the state. It is currently 9:55 a.m. I'm being targeted under the fake sun while the entity is targeting me with impossible light, and the fake sun is still here after 6 p.m. when I walk outside of the same Ovid Family Community Library. P.O.C. This is Delta Airlines that's gang stalking with the demons stalking under the fake sun at the entrance of the library. At 9:59, they're all a bunch of sex offenders monitoring my vagina. Remember, the City of Ontario employees are stalking with the Ontario International Airport that's flying over the library while I'm in the parking lot. And engineer light where my shadows are adjacent to each other in front of me. The gang stalking patrons, who are the people of the state, pedophiles, are gang stalking at the venue with the gang stalkers that are using planes to be the swindlers in the all congregating into the library, not only engaging surveillance, other than stalking other populations. Currently 10. While the doors are open in Open County Community Library, the employees that you see gang stalking with that same airport are engaging in the P.O.C. with the patrons. Engineer light while they all pace inside. These are dead people, and these are the ones stalking in the bathroom. P.O.C.
I'm going to show you the engineer light where they're all marching in the venue, gang stalking, employees and patrons alike. These are the demons that engaged in kidnapping, by the way, on June 16, 2022. Engaging in what is waging false allegations with the gang stalkers, the Ontario Police, just like Tracy Banks, waging false allegations with the Ontario Police while they're engaging in gang stalking altogether. It's an iteration for what is kidnapping while they are stalking. While the demons are walking into the entrance, Impossible Light is shooting into the depths. This is ongoing terrorism. You're going to prosecute for the pattern of conduct which the city of Ontario is maintaining with sex offenders, the entity that is engaged in the sacrificing of an American citizen, gang stalking. That's Delta Airlines. You'll see that in images at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's 215 East C Street where the fake sun is still present at 6 p.m. This is P.O.C. And they are indeed engaged in monitoring in the bathroom. All right, those are sex offenders that you'll see monitoring in the sky space, monitoring at the entrance, walking in, working at the venue, and they're all engaging in that pattern of conduct together, monitoring my vagina. And that's exactly what I've been documenting for years. And as I walk right into the building where the fake sun is located, where a bunch of demons, sex offenders, pedophiles walked into the venue, the P.O.C. underway, engineer light inside of the venue, engineer light shooting inside of the venue. This is where you are recognizing the pattern of conduct occurs and follows right into the bathroom, where the Delta Airlines engage in sacrificing American citizens, sexually violating them, gang stalking with regard to the government system, and demons are engaging in what is sexual violence. Systematically, okay? This is bathroom monitoring. As I'm walking into the venue, understand that my vagina is under surveillance. You're going to prosecute for this as you're understanding, and I'm giving you a tutorial of the pattern of conduct. It's 10:02 a.m. at the Ovid Family Community Library, the family and community of demons that are engaged in the pattern of conduct in a venue that Satan is referring to as a library. It's the P.O.C. That's amplified audible activity in what is engineered light while a bunch of demons are pacing all around the bathroom. The entity does that with regard to knowledge pertaining to my genitalia, taking my clothes off, demons pacing in and out of the bathroom. That's monitoring. Okay, there's no elevator that's adjacent to the bathroom. There's no toilet flushing that's going to pierce through the tile walls or through the ceiling and it's the maintenance of noise in the engineered light. That's why also the fake sun context remains over the library. When I walk outside of those same doors I walked in right now, 11, 12, 1, 2, 5 hours later, it's over the same entrance. That's monitoring the genitalia. That's surveillance by a police department that's getting disbanded. Sex offenders are being removed from law enforcement. The ones that are stalking day and night in helicopters and planes are keeping my vagina under surveillance in the bathroom inside of this same venue. This is P.O.C. It's 10:03 a.m. All right, the things that pedophiles and sex offenders, that is demons, do when they know that they're being exposed as sex offenders, who are gang stalking and doing things like monitoring vagina in the bathroom of what is a so-called family community library. They do things such as run into the bathroom to monitor you the moment that they know that your panties are down, you're engaged in that private activity, and then they run out and filthy demons that are running into the women's restroom. They also do so in order to monitor you and be next to my exposed vagina and running out because they know that they're being documented. They're filthy creatures not only because they're sex offenders and pedophiles, they're filthy creatures because they don't even wash their hands. And that's what you need to know, by the way, based on gang stalking females who practice routinely homosexual activity, monitoring my vagina in California. And they are those that identify as heterosexual women. And those are Jezebel spirits, and they are whores that are obsessed with my vagina. License 9NTM024. You'll see the fake sun while that demon is gang stalking, monitoring my vagina. That's a pedophile. They're engaged in pedophilia while I'm exposing the criminal system that pedophiles in Ontario, California are engaging in, and it's gang stalking. And at the same entrance that I entered in this morning under the fake sun, it is currently 5:27 p.m. This is the supernatural where pedophiles and women that are covert homosexuals who are gang stalking with the government, on behalf of the government, stalking me in a bathroom. That's how obsessed they are with my vagina. And they also are wanting to engage in that homosexual violence while they're then running out of the bathroom because they are very fearful of being identified as that sex offender, but they already are. Literally by your place of residency, by your placement on the cameras at this venue, by your placement in the city of Ontario. But these are demons that are looking at them, oh, as long as you don't get my license plate, as long as you don't get my picture, and nobody is escaping anything. But Like I said, these are demons that are under a fake sun that's at the same entrance that it was this morning, where these demons are stalking as a whole business. The Yoba Family Community Library represents a venue where the mayor is monitoring my vagina with the average pedophile that's walking into the bathroom, obsessing over my vagina, which a bunch of demons are together worshiping while they're gang stalking, okay? License plate. Get these stalkers' license plates. You'll see them crossing path 9GAG210. These are demons that are pacing, license plate 9GWV173, sharing in what is monitoring my vagina. That's what you need to know, and that's why they're present, driving under a fake sun, monitoring, and their co-defendant walks into the bathroom with regard to that shared worship of my genitalia, and that's just the factual information regarding gang stalking. Sex offenders, demons, don't want you to know about the sexual violence that they routinely practice, and they do so, and then in the physical, you have what is a criminal justice system that prosecutes pedophiles, prosecutes rapists, and that's what 9AMV226 represents, a pedophile that's gang stalking and monitoring my vagina, and you don't know it while they're driving under a fake sun, and they're engaging in what is surrounding with a network of communication devices with a government that's maintaining an engineered environment where they are gang stalking in places such as bathrooms. Okay, so I want to make sure that this is a documentation that's relevant to what a sex offender that's running out of the bathroom, filthy in substance and also literally filthy with dirty hands, running out of the bathroom because a coward that is, again, a covert homosexual worshiping my vagina doesn't want to be documented. License 9PSF 873. Gang stalking while the sex offenders, the pedophiles of the Ontario Police sound helicopter activity at the same venue where they're flying over the top of my head at 10 o'clock in the morning, which is what you saw. You saw them gang stalking last night at 10:16 and 10:21 p.m. again while they're monitoring my documentation, which is the Title 18 federal stalking that they are engaging in now. But you already know that when those predators are stalking as a city under a fake sun. These are the living dead. These are demons that are engaging in criminal activity that's no longer a secret. And you need to know that they are pedophiles that are engaging. And these pedophiles are demon possessed. You need to understand that pedophilia is the conduct of demons. Sexual activity with children, sexual attraction to children as an adult, that's demon possession in operation. Okay, it's addressed in manners that are entirely disregarded. It's diagnosed with regard to mental illness. You need to understand that the spiritual condition is affecting manifesting and behavior that is sexually dysfunctional and perverted, and that's because of the Jezebel spirit that's operating over the Ontario Police Department that is, again, worshiping my vagina by spending millions of dollars using helicopter activity to keep it under surveillance, and that's why they're being disbanded. The entity is stalking like it is throughout the city of Ontario, and this is, again, Tracy Banks' co-defendant and Jason Isaac Fields' co-defendant. They're going to prison. And so are the kidnappers at the Yoba Family Community Library, because they engaged in kidnapping under this fake sun that's still here. June 16, 2022, this fake sun is over this entrance, where this same police department that's gang stalking now is going to be federally prosecuted. The same Corey Watson that you see cheesing from ear to ear, he's under this fake sun at 10:29 in the morning, and that demon's going to federal prison for kidnapping while he's stalking, just like the department still is now, with 7E30546, another sex offender monitoring my vagina, pedophiles, engaging in criminal activity as a whole public entity. And this entity engaged in kidnapping right here at this address where the fake sun remains all day long. Where you know the city of Ontario is stalking with commercial planes and stalking with helicopter, relevant to domestic terrorism and psychological torture. And there's a body of evidence that is surrounding these pedophiles who are going to federal prison for domestic terrorism and psychological torture and being exposed as the sex offenders that they are, serving for what is notice to the rest of the country regarding this population of dead people who engage in preying upon unsuspecting American citizens and children. The population that's engaging in having sex and trafficking children, they are the demon-possessed that are also engaged in the system of gang stalking and its government conduct, by the way. It's currently 5:31 p.m. This is P.O.C. That's a demon that's playing music under the fake sun. Understand the elements of monitoring, okay? License plate 7ZCP024. License 9MLF159. License 7BHD881. Remember, I'm documenting pedophiles. License NN838, handicap. License 4LWX787. License 9GWV173. I already documented that demon. She's crossing path at the turn circle. Now she's engaged in surveillance while the entity is stalking by helicopter, and that's supposed to be a threat. Now, with regard to the entity that's gang stalking as a corrupt police department, you're going to federal prison for that. All right, so that's what you're accomplishing. That's the reward that you get for documented criminal activity that a federal court is going to rule over. BLESD 96. This is P.O.C.
Remember, this is what Southwest Airlines is doing at 10 o'clock in the morning. That is UPS. This is Engineer Light. That's called stalking in the path of light. This is what pedophiles are doing, because this is gang stalking. You're witnessing demonic activity. This is a demon, and it's also a Jezebel spirit that's engaged in pedophilia. Gang stalkers are the ones that are trafficking children and having sex with them, and there's a whole network that's going to be prosecuted with regard to what's related to what's being exposed simultaneously while I'm prosecuting gang stalking. And that was UPS. That's, again, the entity that's hovering. That large plane is not taking off from the airport, hovering at that elevation. And this is the coexisting light in the path and what is engineer light. Understand, this is all shade. So where is the sunlight coming from? That is a demon, that demonic synchronicity. The entity is monitoring my vagina. These are the sex offenders keeping my vagina under surveillance as well. This pedophile, again, license 9DCC520, 9GWV173, walking in, walking next to, being around the engineer light that's on that sidewalk in the shade. This is the same parking garage where the fake sun is present at 10:13 in the morning, and that parking garage has engineer light, like you see here all over the roof, the ceiling inside of that parking garage. That's where you're recognizing a demon, and you know that demons have sex with children, and demons are gang stalking in California, engaging in federal stalking violation of Title 18, and they're doing so with the government that's maintaining aerial surveillance. Corrupt companies like UPS that are sacrificing American citizens, like now, while you're gang stalking, okay? This is impossible light as well. That's the fake sun that's so low that it's also in Monrovia, California. That's impossible to coexist, and it's also impossible that the sun would still be here. This is the same parking garage where you're looking at your average gang stalker that's monitoring genitalia while stalking in the path. Okay, and then sounding helicopter, because pedophiles and sex offenders and gang stalkers are hostile to what you're stating. License 9UIG015. Sex offenders, pedophiles, gang stalkers, and demons that are of both genders, of all ages and all races. Doing so at a so-called family community library. License 7HPX573. Let me show you the fake sun, because like I stated, in 2022, Old Family Community Library, and before 2022 have committed multiple criminal acts of obstruction of justice, for which the gang stalkers at the Old Family Community Library, they're going to federal prison. The fake sun is right here on June 16, 2022. That video evidence is coming up. It's already on my website. This is the P.O.C.wordpress.com, and it is coming up on the YouTube channel. And those demons that are acting with impunity, gang stalking at the same venue where they committed kidnapping, for which there is no statute of limitations. You're going to federal prison where I am kidnapped and I lose my liberty because I'm documenting the fact that you're obsessed with my vagina. You can bet that you're going to federal prison. And this is Tracy Banks' co-defendant. While the entity is gang stalking with the Ontario International Airport, the Ontario Police Department, and the sex offenders and pedophiles who are the people of the state. That's impunity while stalking in the path, obsessing, and they also obsess over my vagina. Okay? Those are the demon-possessed that are gang stalking in the city of Ontario, where the fake sun is still here. That's where the demons had police training on July 14, 2025 at 7:15 in the morning. That's a demon that's stalking under a fake sun. That's right here over this roof over my head, where a bunch of demons were under this entrance at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is where UPS, representing what is gang stalking by every airline that are engaged in sacrificing American citizens, in the same way that UPS is sacrificing an American citizen, that it is gang stalking. This is P.O.C. It's currently 5:36 p.m. and the sun would never be over this entrance at 10:29 a.m. and still be at the same location, which is exactly what this is, at 5:36 in the afternoon. The Old Family Community Library, the demons are engaged in kidnapping upon false allegations. They're going to federal prison. And this is ongoing demonic activity. They're pacing in their life. These are the demon-possessed that are gang stalking. And this is the impunity of a demon-possessed society that's engaged in gang stalking with minor children. These are demons, not normal people. And this is the product of what are the living dead. Driving an engineer light is on the vehicle. The fake sun is right here, and they're in the shade driving an engineer light. And this is the fake sun that's here in the morning. This is the corruption that Alan D. WAPNER, Mike LORENZ, Paul Leon, the Ontario City Hall is right there. Paul Leon's monitoring my vagina with a bunch of sex offenders that are engaged in criminal conduct for which he's being removed from office. This is public corruption exposed. And you need to understand that this is the product of pedophiles, and the pedophiles are demon-possessed. This is currently 5:37 p.m. at 215 East C Street, where the fake sun is the evidence of what is a crime scene. This is P.O.C. All right.
Alrighty, you're listening to me capture video. The entity engaged in what is ongoing communication of an unlawful threat. Gang stalking by helicopter activity, remember that's monitoring. So those are demons that are engaging in the elements of monitoring, exhibiting demon possession, in other words, using specifically the method that's identifying the government. Who's starting helicopter activity? Oh, the demons that are working for the Ontario Police, that one that's going to be disbanded. That one that is gang stalking with terrorists like Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, delusional psychopaths who are already going to federal prison, and the Ontario Police and the people of the state, like at Ovid Family Community Library demonstrates, they're still targeting, and that's relevant to Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks going straight to federal prison. Okay, the entities engaged in a pattern of conduct, and it's a failed sacrifice. And UPS gang stalking is relevant to the federal RICO case against every business in the state of California that's engaged in state surveillance under a fake sun. Hovering at that low elevation, they're flying as low as the fake sun is that's been here since 10 o'clock in the morning. And you'll recall Southwest Airlines and Delta Airlines doing the same thing, Alaska Airlines doing the same thing, Frontier Airlines doing the exact same thing, where you're looking at the fake sun that doesn't go anywhere while they're all stalking me. And you had a pedophile that is filthy, doesn't want to wash her hands while she's running out, scared to be caught on camera. I just caught the entire entity. I don't have to get that particular sex offender's face. You know that the entire population in Ontario are full of demons who engage in sexual activity with children while they are gang stalking me, which is relevant evidence pertaining to pedophiles who are gang stalking. And it includes, like they are showing you, the local government. Every level of government, the fire department, the police department, the Ontario International Airport, demons that are gang stalking. And you need to understand, again, as you see on video, the Ontario International Airport represents corrupt airlines that are sacrificing American citizens, just like Southwest Airlines is doing so. And as I document that, who flew over the top of my head right here at the same entrance where the fake sun was at that time. That was at 10 o'clock in the morning, 9:59 a.m. yesterday. That's the Ontario Police Department and Southwest Airlines. That represents the government. Southwest Airlines, that is headquartered in Dallas, Texas, that has a serious prosecution coming for domestic terrorism and psychological torture and sexual violence committed by that company and committed by the demons that are flying those planes who are subject to federal prison. There's not going to be any mystery. You can run out of the bathroom and not wash your hands all you want, Satan, but I'm going to prosecute you, and very specific names are going to prison. And we can start with, at the top of the list is Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks. They're going to federal prison. Their co-defendants can't control themselves. They continuously present evidence against them. License plate 5BHT164, and this is the reason why the entity maintained a secret conservatorship, why Jason Isaac Fields has been engaged in years of campaigning, defaming my character, while I've been subject to repeated kidnappings by the same gang stalkers that I'm documenting right now. The Ontario Police, this is what Tracy Banks, the corrupt court that's concerning property that the government never told me about, they're trying to steal it while gang stalking me at the same time, and then we're relying on the criminal conduct of the gang stalker, the Ontario Police, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, in order to, in a courtroom that's engaging in criminal activity, surveillance, having no jurisdiction over me or my property, relying on that criminal conduct in order to create what is a record for criminal activity and mental illness. It's manufactured. It's going to require what is the change in laws throughout this country, where in fact the mentally ill are engaged in targeting. Yeah, the mentally ill are the ones that are having sex with children. The mentally ill are the ones that are engaging in the demonic pattern of conduct. They're the ones under a fake sun, very mentally ill. They're the ones stalking with impossible light. And I got the evidence on video for years. They're the ones that are mentally ill. They're the ones stalking with amplified audible activity. Very, very much mentally demented behavior. They're the ones that are worshiping my vagina. And they're hostile. Also, their mental illness exhibited through the hostility, through their gang stalking conduct that is committed with the intent to retaliate and threaten and harass because they're monitoring the evidence. They're the ones stalking one person together as a whole city, county, state. That's mental illness. And that's proven as a matter of documentation, not manufactured and made up. Not a projection like the demon-possessed do. Documented psychopaths that are wearing Ontario police uniforms, they're going to federal prison, and they are the case against Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, because those two mentally ill clowns are going to federal prison. It's currently 5:41 p.m. This is documentation of bathroom monitoring, where a pedophile enters in and she is aware of the fact that she's going to be embarrassed by being published on the internet, and so that tacky sex offender runs out of the bathroom with dirty hands. Okay, this is P.O.C. It's currently 5:41 p.m. and that's the ordinary sexual violence underway at the Ovid Family Community Library. Domestic terrorism, psychological torture, sexual violence, gang violence. P.O.C. All right, Securitas is gang stalking as well. Securitas is always engaged in monitoring my vagina, and Securitas is doing so as a means of, as a corrupt company and as an employee, a third party inside of the venue as well. All right, engaged in all of the aforesaid criminal acts committed by the entity. Okay, it is 5:43 p.m. All right, helicopter activity. Upon exit of the Ovid Family Community Library, which you'll pay attention to the light activity, where Securitas is gang stalking and the light activity that's at the entrance, that's impossible. First of all, there's the overlapping entrance that covers the front portion of the doors. That would be all shade. All of that would be shade. In addition, when I come back to the entrance at 5:59 p.m., it's all gone. You'll see engineer light that is on the wall at the floor level, at the base floors. This is the purpose. The objective is always maintaining concentrated engineer light where you're looking at what is the evidence of stalking. And this is what the Ontario International Airport is doing. They're doing so while I'm uploading the video that I captured. UPS engaging in sacrificing an American citizen that they're gang stalking after engaging in the sex offensive monitoring genitalia in a restroom, and then engaging in acts of violence and threatening conduct because of monitoring evidence. GM Hart 2TZA crossing path. And this is helicopter activity by the gang stalkers, the Ovid Family Community Library, who engaged in kidnapping on June 16, 2022. They are going to federal prison. Okay, the entity is engaged in this while you are monitoring the evidence. That's also an unlawful intrusion into the case against that state. The demons that are going to federal prison for gang stalking as police officers, for example, the disbanding of the Ontario Police. This is all relevant evidence while the entity is engaged in ongoing obstruction of justice. Okay, and that's a very serious criminal act with regard to terrorists engaging in the terrorism of American citizens, and then those terrorists as though conducting themselves as though they're going to stop the federal government from prosecuting them as terrorists in this country. This is the domestic enemy engaging in that. It's 6:03 p.m. This is P.O.C. Following from, and you know that they're following because the fake sun's moving as I move. This is the Ontario Town Square where it remains all day long. I move from, this is B Street, so I'm walking south. That's the evidence of the Ontario Police. They're stalking. You already know that. This is the police department that's being disbanded. They're monitoring my vagina. They're sex offenders. They're engaged in kidnapping while they're stalking. They're demons who are gang stalking, and they're criminally facilitating monitoring by a population of demons. These are demon-possessed people. These are the pedophiles engaging in gang stalking, and that's what UPS is doing while they're stalking under a fake sun that was over the library. It's not over the library anymore. It's moving as I move in the direction south down the street, and that's how you know a gang stalking police department is wasting millions of dollars on surveillance. That's also why the Ontario Police are being disbanded. Mike LORENZ is being publicly removed from office. And this is the federal prosecution of Tracy Banks through the criminal conduct of the state of California. She's going to federal prison, and so is Jason Isaac Fields. This is P.O.C. It's 6:07 p.m. All right, license plate 91581D4. Stalking under the fake sun at Holt and Euclid Avenue. If you're aware of the history of documentation, the entity has the fake sun rising while I'm waking up at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where a population of pedophiles have been gang stalking me for years, and where the Ontario Police are stalking in a helicopter, which is what I just captured on video. License 8 EEB 622, while that fake sun progresses to what is Holt and Euclid Avenue, where the entity is sounding helicopter activity with third party. This is a pedophile, 9JBF 558. All of them are. The entity is monitoring to the sound of helicopter activity, and that is the unlawful threat by the gang stalkers that you're documenting. These terrorists are going to be prosecuted for targeting with the kidnappers, the Ontario Police. 7YJJ259, 7TVT579, 9TNU021, license 9FMZ549, license 9JBF558, I think I read that one, license 5GOR077, 7BZS485. And this is the Ontario Police that's stalking with all of the population in Ontario, California. And all of that population is engaged in what is stalking at every venue. This is what Ovid Family Community Library proves to you. And the entity is going to be prosecuted for that. Let me capture more video of the Ontario Police stalking right over my head at the intersection. This is P.O.C. And this is the gang stalkers that have no intention of remaining as a police department, and they're showing you demon possession. This is Holt and Euclid Avenue, where I am present in the morning, where that Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where I'm waking up and immediately stalking the fake sun that's right there at the same intersection right now, where the Ontario Police are stalking. This is how you know they're stalking. The fake sun's no longer at B Street, and the entity is stalking me like you see in commercial planes on Ontario International Airport, coming from the library last night, and stalking in a helicopter. This is the entity that's engaged in prevention, psychological torture, and so is license 8RFF897, 9PAN587. They're all monitoring our communication license 8LXG536, and they're all demons maintaining and intentional purpose present under the fake sun. These are the demon possessed that are gang stalking, and it's the government. The Ontario police make sympathy here, it's traffic, it's surveillance. That's why the fake sun is remaining. And those are demons stalking in the helicopter, flying in circles where they know where I'm at, and they know where I'm at as well. These are the same demons stalking with the pulse light inside of T-Mobile. It's already on video. They're demons and they're stalking with the police. That's why they go to federal prison. Like the Starbucks kidnappers on July 4, 2025, they're gang stalking with the police. They're going to federal prison when they engage in kidnapping. Let me show you the fake sign. Oh, she's going to federal prison. She's going. She's going to federal prison, and her co-defendant that lacks self-control, the demon stalking in the Ontario Police Department helicopter, is putting her there. And it's the same legal analysis regarding the kidnappers. Tracy Banks and Jason Huddersfield are going to federal prison. And the police are literally stalking an American citizen in the United States, in California, under a fake sun with a population using a helicopter. There's a lot of money. Polygons being removed from office. So is Alan D. WAPNER stalking you with commercial planes. This is the entity that's stalking as an entire city, and these are demons doing so. San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, you know that they're gang stalking, kidnapping with the Ontario Police. And this is the entity that's Shannon DICUS. That's P.O.C. under the fake sun on Hope Boulevard for years documenting this entity stalking. All right, that's P.O.C. This is demonic patrolling. They're not normal people, these are demons. This is in their life under with the fake sun. By the way, it's not remaining over the Starbucks at 507 Euclid Avenue. It's not remaining over the Open Family Community Library like it did all day until the moment that I leave. And that is stalking proven by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:15 p.m. All right, the San Bernardino County Sheriff and the Ontario Police Department engage in criminal conduct, which is proving stalking and terrorism of an intentional nature by the demon-possessed people of the state. Okay, license 1672733 is San Bernardino County Sheriff. That's Shannon DICUS. That was gang stalking when I was subject to kidnapping by the gang stalkers on video. The Ontario Police, that's Mike LORENZ, engaging in kidnapping while gang stalking. That's the entity that's also gang stalking with Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, Lisa Rogan. Remember the entity that's gang stalking Thomas Garza. They're part of the pattern of conduct, the same San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department that refused to serve service of process to a fee waiver recipient while they're gang stalking. These are demons that engaged in that. And they do so with the intent to obstruct justice while they are demons conspiring my murder, while they're engaging in a failed sacrifice. And I'm exposing that on the World Wide Web where a prosecution is underway, and they're also going to be subject to federal prison. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department is documented all over the internet, literally deputies by names who are demons, and these are the pedophiles that are gang stalking, and they wear uniforms, monitoring, gang stalking, engaging in psychological torture as demons in San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Remember the fake sons over West Valley Detention Center at what is in Rancho Cucamonga. While they're engaged in that P.O.C., that's pursuant to what is kidnapping then, not a lawful arrest and not lawful imprisonment. Domestic terrorism and psychological torture, and their co-defendant, the Ontario Police, engage in the same gang stalking. And they do so, and guess who is documented engaging in that conduct with the government that's acting directly in the same exact specific environment? The people of the state. Then you're going to what is recognized the kidnapping that Starbucks committed, that Open Family Community Library committed, that Woodside Senior Apartments committed, that's Tracy Banks, that the entity that Economy Inn committed with the same gang stalkers, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, the Ontario Police Department, the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, and they're going to federal prison. That's what you're understanding there, and that's what the evidence proves, and they engage in it again. And there is so much history at this intersection right here where the fake sun is present at what is 6. Let me get the time is 6:17 p.m. The fake sun is here at sunrise, where the same Ontario Police Department is stalking helicopter, police vehicles, the Ontario International Airport, the entity gang stalking when I'm on Omnitrans, going up and down Euclid Avenue, going up and down Hope Boulevard, going to and from Ontario, going to Fontana, going to Pomona, going to Montclair, and the entity's keeping the fake sun, all right? And the sun is never going to be at the Ontario Museum of History and Art, not in 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 2024, 2025. The sun is never going to be at this same block that it is in the morning when I'm sleeping at the Ontario Museum of History and Art that's already sitting on the record. While demons are showing their mental illness to the world, you need to understand that pedophiles are demon-possessed. It's demonic conduct when you're having sex with children. And the gang stalkers, the demon-possessed, are engaging in this criminal system. And it's the government that's engaging in that. The government that is stalking as you're looking at the fake sun move from 215 East C Street, where the fake sun was present in the morning, and where you know that fake sun does not move. Literally video at 6:22 p.m. and it stays at that Ovid Family Community Library entrance where I'm there, but not today. At 6, it's not even 6:22 p.m. yet. It's 6:18, and the fake sun. It's also not over Economy Inn south of this location, but that's where the same police department is flying in circles over that hotel where that fake sun is present. The entity is keeping the fake son on the same street at Starbucks where they committed kidnapping at both of those venues, all of these venues. And the entity is going to be subject to federal prison. The people of the state are going to be prosecuted while the government that they're targeting with is engaging in absurdly psychopathic conduct such as stalking an American citizen on video. On video. And then they engage in more of this psychopathic direct evidence of stalking as I then put it on the internet. And what do? Capture more video of them stalking and monitoring and harassing while it's being published on the venue of the internet, where you already know that they are keeping that conduct and my communication devices under surveillance. Those are the ignoramuses. Those are the pedophiles. Those are the psychopaths that are gang stalking. And they are doing so at Holt and Euclid Avenue now, where the fake son is engaged in an all-out abandonment of being over 215 East C Street, being over 408 West G Street, Woodside Senior Apartments, being over or anywhere near what is the Economy Inn at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, where I'm documenting the fake son is remaining, and I'm also documenting stalking, conclusive evidence of stalking in a satanic manner, which is relevant to the malicious guise of what is public corruption, where gang stalking, which is the practice of witchcraft by a population that's trying to sacrifice an American citizen. You need to understand the demon possessed, they're exposing it to you. The Ontario police are not only proven through tangible evidence to be stalkers, they're engaging in the practice of witchcraft on video. License 1506984, and that's Upland Police Department. You know that they're gang stalkers, and they also committed kidnapping. And you want to know why all these demons are engaged in crossing path right now at this intersection while I'm capturing very damning evidence? This is what the demon possessed, who are very much suicidal. This is prosecutorial suicide as well. And it's not helpful for license 9MQU842, who is gang stalking in furtherance of the same criminal conspiracy to commit murder, that is to sacrifice. It's the same with regard to what UPS is engaging in, the ongoing criminal conspiracy to murder, that is sacrifice as demons that are gang stalking. And they do so through the corrupt business practices that you see Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, American Airlines, Frontier, Amazon, FedEx, UPS Airlines, United Airlines engaging in while they are engaging in the same exact pattern of conduct. Upland Police, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, and the Ontario Police are sharing in that criminal engagement at this intersection where they are all witnessing me expose them on the internet. The entities are aware that they've been exposed, and they engaged in trying to murder me before it got to this point. They failed in that, and now they're engaging in what is admitting, while you're literally engaging in this, there's no coincidence under the fake sun that Upland Police, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Police, and the Ontario Police, who, again, they've already given up. These demons are giving up. And their pattern is, well, we'll engage in more terrorism, and that's supposed to shut up the targeted individual. When you have the body of evidence, that doesn't help. And so that's why I go from getting one video of stalking to getting 7 videos of stalking in one night. And then the entity is engaging in what is a tremendous body of evidence proving stalking, targeting by a government that is doing it in concert with the people of the state. The people of the state are not innocent bystanders having nothing to do with what's going on. These delusional psychopaths are going to be prosecuted as the kidnappers, as the sex offenders, the pedophiles, the ongoing criminal facilitators, those that are engaging in the satanic worship while they're doing things such as worshiping my vagina while they're gang stalking. This is what the people of the state engage in. This is what the demon possessed engage in. And you need to understand that the entity is engaging in the practice of witchcraft in your face while they're engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct, which is proven in tangible evidence. And the entity is engaging in this series of admissions, and it's not helpful to the people of the state. But I just want to be clear, this is why you have that, because as a prosecutor, I would be sitting back, and that's why I'm answering questions that I would anticipate that I would have, because I would sit back and I would say, why would so many of those state actors be even seen on camera? Because that's what you should be asking. Why would you do that? Everybody knows what's going on here. Everybody, you're all sitting up listening, and so is the state of California that's being exposed for terrorism in the United States. So the question is, why would you engage? Why would Upland Police, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department help these suicidal demons of the Ontario Police, because they're suicidal? Why would you do that? The entity is engaging in what is, first of all, this is desperation. Desperation is very dangerous, and I'm going to prosecute for that. That's an unlawful threat. The entity engages in serious acts of violence while they are, first of all, obsessed, sexually perverted, mentally deranged, and desperate, okay? But the entity is doing so while I'm documenting the population who are the people of the state. There's no protecting the people of the state. The people of the state have shown themselves to be demons. Who is gang stalking me in the middle of the night at Woodside Senior Apartments in apartment number 55? And all those units, 48 through 64, that's surrounding while that fake sun remains over that strip of sidewalk right there outside of Tracy Banks' apartment. The Ontario Police Department aren't living there. They're not paying anybody's rent. They're not sitting there. They like to be, and they are vicariously, but they are not inside of those apartment buildings. They are providing evidence, and the entity is fully surrounded with evidence to prosecute them. So while the government engages in what is stalking with the Upland Police Department, documented kidnappers. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, documented kidnappers. The Ontario Police Department, which you already know, they don't even have any intention to do anything other than be prosecuted, and their co-defendants that are relying on them, Jason Isaac Fields, the federal government, Tracy Banks, everybody that engaged in perjurious defamation of my character, perjurious testimony, they're going to prison. While the Upland Police, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Police, and the Ontario Police are gang stalking with the people of the state, they're going to federal prison. The entity's failed purpose is to engage in gang stalking and doing so in an obvious manner where they want to be seen on camera. They don't want to be seen on camera, but they want to be seen on camera as though that's some sort of diversion from the people of the state whose license plates I'm documenting. They are all subject to federal prison. They're kidnapping at Starbucks, they're going to federal prison. They're kidnapping at Woodside Senior Apartments, they're going to federal prison. They're kidnapping at Economy Inn, they're going to federal prison. They're kidnapping at the Ovid Family Community Library, they're going to federal prison. They're kidnapping at the Upland Public Library, as the demons want to remind you about, by strolling through under the fake sun in Ontario, California in an Upland Police Department vehicle. They're going to federal prison. Period. The entity is not helping the people of the state that you already know are demons while they're driving by outside of Starbucks and engineer light is flying all across the walls inside where Ocean's going to federal prison where she was gang stalking, and that evidence of the fake sun still being there at 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the evening, she's going to federal prison. And surely as the government provides corroborating evidence to put her where she belongs by stalking under the fake sun at Holt and Euclid, where I'm documenting the fake sun in the morning where the same state actors are stalking. Euclid Avenue is engaging in Euclid Avenue is a crime scene where the entity is engaging in surveillance. The entity is fully surrounded with evidence, and that is delusional behavior. The mentally ill are working for the Upland Police Department, the Rancho Cucamonga Police, that's the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. The entity, that's Shannon DICUS, okay? The same corrupt system. The mentally ill are working for the Ontario Police Department. All right, the entities engaging in this while the mentally ill are engaging in the pattern of conduct with that level of desperation, and that is the failed effort there. That's putting all the same co-defendants right where they belong. And any gang stalking immigrants, any of them, the entire city of Ontario is gang stalking immigrants are being deported. You've already witnessed the beginning of that process. And this is also why gang stalking immigrants are not going to be accepted from that federal policy, because you work in government, because you're a fire chief, for example, because you work for a wildly successful company like Amazon or UPS, or you're a pilot. Oh, those are the first that are going to be deported. They're engaging in sacrificing American citizens like UPS and Southwest Airlines are showing you. Deport them. Deport them out of the country. And by the way, they are openly addressing and communicating hostility to American citizens that they want to murder. They want to murder them. With these demons that are stalking as a population. This is ongoing surveillance and evidence of impunity, while all of those corrupt law enforcement agencies engaged in the unlawful threat on video and on podcast. Upland Police, Rancho Cucamonga Police, which is San Bernardino County Sheriff. Okay, I've got the San Bernardino County Sheriff in multiple cities, in Victorville, in Hesperia, in Rancho Cucamonga, and in here in Ontario, where they're gang stalking under the fake sun. They're under the fake sun at 10 o'clock in the morning at the gang stalker, that pedophile Mayor Paul Leon, the Ontario City Hall. San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon DICUS is documented gang stalking me at 10 o'clock in the morning where the fake sun is on this same street where it would never be in a natural environment, proving that these gang stalkers are, first of all, demons. And you need to understand that gang stalking is committed by pedophiles. They engage in sexual activity with children. This is a Jezebel spirit. This particular demonic spirit is sexually interested and obsessed with innocent children that are the focal point of sexual activity, where the demon-possessed Satan is deceiving people, and this particular demonic spirit is consumed with violating children, not only to spread what is that sexual perversion, which is of a spirit, a demonic spirit, but also because they believe that they're, as demons, they're deceived by Satan. They believe that they're deriving spiritual power and authority. And that's also being disproven because these demons, these pedophiles, this Jezebel spirit is being exposed, and it has been publicly exposed and prosecuted. All right, these are the pedophiles that are gang stalking. 8VWH413, 7LVR939, 8YIG736, 162444A3, 9BLE352, 8GPS168, 13108P3, 68375E3, 8PSZ457, Alan D. WAPNER stalking where the fake sun is at, not over the Ovid Family Community Library, but right here over Holt and Euclid. 9BCD611, where Alan D. Wapner is also doing so in the morning at this same intersection with the fake sun, proving that Alan D. Wapner is specifically stalking me. And doing so while Alan D. Wapner knows that he's being documented. 8RZM000. And that pedophile that's acting like he's a Jew is going to be removed from office as well. Engaging what is a failed sacrifice. License plate 00480Z2, that's a psychopath, and the hostility and aggression is exhibited through the amplified audible activity. These are psychopaths that are sex offenders. License plate 8VSJ415, and this is what was stalking in the bathroom. This is what was in the bathroom, running in, wanting to be next to me while they know that my vagina is exposed. You need to understand that Mike Lorenz is a pedophile, okay? Presenting as a heterosexual male or woman, presenting as what is a proper, healthy, function adult that's not engaged in sexual activity, that doesn't engage in what is trafficking children, that's not engaged in any criminal activity to protect such criminal conduct, such sexual perversion, and profiting from it, while you're engaging in the gang stalking committed by such sex offenders. This is the entity that's engaged in that, and that's what Mike Lorenz is about. That's what he's engaged in. That's what he's facilitating. While the Ontario police is pacing like psychopaths that are losing their minds, the more that I speak, the more that I document. And they're doing so under the fake sun, and that's relevant to the video documentation that I captured. License SOTOJES. And I'm capturing, understand, what you're looking at is demonic activity. This is not traffic. You're looking at the people of the state exhibiting demon possession. That is, it's no longer invisible. When you're seeing them under the fake sun, moving under the fake sun, when you're seeing them flying in a helicopter, and you can hear it on podcasts. When you are looking at police vehicles, the sheriff's department, when you are looking at them in the physical act of driving in this environment, you are looking at the demon possessed, and their demons are manifesting. You're just not looking at what you think is supposed to be a demon, a ghoul. You're looking at the creature that's levitating on the ground. You're looking at something that's red with a red tail and with a forked tongue. That's not what you're going to see. Now, the entity is progressive. The wicked are progressively, and that character, which is spiritual, when you're seeing in the spirit, that is going to progressively become the case, while demons are no longer going to be able to hide in the bodies of the people of the state. But these demons are fully revealing themselves to you while they're in this environment. This is not traffic. The demon possessed, the living dead fill the state of California, and they're manifesting right before you with the Ontario Police, the Upland Police, and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, specifically the Rancho Cucamonga Police. 6LSC 830 and UPS on the Ontario International Airport understand that they're engaging in demonic activity. Okay? You already know what Michael Gerken is doing on this same street in the morning. That's criminal summoning. They're doing the same thing when I'm at the Ontario Town Square in the morning. 8ULN344. Impossible light on the street. That's not sunlight. These are demons that are manifesting. And you're going to see the fake sun. They're doing this in the morning while I'm documenting them at 9:45. The sun is not going to be in a natural environment on the same street. The Ontario Town Square is right across the street. Michael Gerken is engaging in what is manifesting as a demon, while all the demons that work for the Ontario Fire Department are monitoring. Okay, doing so while the Ontario Police Department, these are psychopaths that are going berserk, pacing back and forth over Metro 102, while the Ontario Fire Department provide light activity, audible activity in the specific environment under the fake sun. Remember, they're gang stalking me at 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning at Metro 102. United Airlines let you know that they're engaged in sacrificing me. So did Southwest Airlines. So did UPS. And they're doing so where the entity is keeping the fake sun and where the Ontario police are manifesting before you as demons. They're engaging in a failed sacrifice that's being exposed on the World Wide Web. And this is the prosecution of the United States government, the state of California, that's engaged in gang stalking together as the police department, as the fire department, and as the airport. This is where the entity is pacing in planes right here. This is P.O.C. There are no planes taking off. This is what you saw them doing behind the Housing Authority. On Lemon Avenue last night as I left the Ontario Overfamily Community Library, and they're engaged as though there's no takeoff over here, and they're just doing donuts. They're getting in alignment with my person. This is demons that are manifesting. Gang stalking demons that are engaged in sacrificing, they're going to be put in federal prison. This is P.O.C. And the entity is doing the same thing, stalking by helicopter. And they're doing so where the fake sun is right here. It is currently 6:32 p.m. You saw them doing the same thing last night at the Ovid Family Community Library, flying over there, over 280 North Limit Apartments at Senior Citizen Complex. They're doing it at nightfall in engineered light, the same engineered light that they're all driving in. The entity, the city of Chino is gang stalking. They know that they're on the record. This is what the demons admit to when they know that they're engaged in that P.O.C. This is a ritual right now, and this is a failed sacrifice. And these demons engaged in making a contract with Satan that they did not cash in on. They engaged in death spells, voodoo, black magic, and these are demons that know that they're in trouble because they're going to answer before the Lord Jesus Christ. But what you're witnessing is a prosecution for criminal conduct. The Ontario police have no constitutional authority to engage in surveillance. Neither does the Ontario International Airport. neither does the Ontario Fire Department, neither does the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, neither does the Upland Police Department, neither does the Chino Police Department. And they're, let's see, where did that end? All right, I'm documenting right now. I stopped talking because I want to see where my video ended. You can hear me narrating Chino Police crossing path. And the reason why I'm going through that is because the entity is crossing path gang stalking on video, where all the demons are anticipating. They're all aware of everything that's on the record. And this is fear. Believe it or not, this is fear that the demons are experiencing and acting out. Remember, psychopaths, the demon-possessed, the wicked, when they are fearful, they engage in criminal conduct and they threaten other people. They engage in more acts of violence. And the most vivid illustration I can give you, imagine a psychopath, a demon, a pedophile, a gang stalker, the demon-possessed, strapped with weapons. Okay, and they're engaging in what is terrorism. They're stalking. They know that they're going to be arrested, that they're anticipating a raid. They will go in with all of their weapons and shoot up as many people as they possibly can before they are raided, before they are subject to what is a prosecution in a court and then put in a cage. This is analogous to what the entity is doing. Gang stalking through the Chino police that know that they're documented in 2022, in particular, engaging in the same criminal conduct that the Ontario Police Department is doing in Ontario. Why is Upland Police crossing path under the fake sun at this intersection? Why is San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department crossing path under the fake sun at this intersection? Okay, why is the Upland Police engaging in crossing a path under the fake sun at this intersection? They all know that they lost. And these are demons, not normal people. These are not only defendants, these are demons. And they are very much fearful while you're looking at them engage in what is a ritual. This is ritualistic. I'm showing you this is demonic activity. But I'm going into not only what this is in the spirit, these are a bunch of demons that are fearful. These are a bunch of demons that are also at the same time hostile. And while they're engaging in what is the inability to control themselves based on their fear and their hostility, based on their knowledge that they're being prosecuted and their ongoing planned sacrifice failed, they're engaging in criminal conduct, which is speaking to a prosecution that's already complete. So you're giving me more evidence while you're crossing path under the fake sun while you're engaged in surveillance. They know that, and this is relevant to, it's essentially an admission. And so is Upland Police, Chino Police, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, and the Ontario Police that are gang stalking at one intersection where the sunrise and the sunset is captured, and where the Ontario Police, though they represent of the most, they're going to be disbanded, and they're here gang stalking with their co-defendant Ontario Police. That's not going to exist anymore. Okay, the entity is doing so while they know these are demons that know that they have lost and trying to sacrifice secretly. And trying to sacrifice at all, but trying to sacrifice secretly. They lost the secrecy, and they also lost in that bargain. And there are people that are going to pay dearly. Now, with regard to prosecution, they're going to pay with their reputation. The entity is gang stalking the chief of police of Chino, the chief of police of the Upland Police Department, the SHANNON DICUS over the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, particularly the captain over the Rancho Cucamonga Police, since they want to come and participate in gang stalking at this intersection. While their psychopathic co-defendant is flying in circle, going berserk, while I'm documenting the P.O.C. and the entity is hostile. Psychopaths go more psychopathic as you expose them. This is speaking to the mental illness that already existed in the first place. Upland Police gang stalking again while they are crossing path. I'm showing you the fake sun right now. Doing so while they're listening to the exposure that is, again, this is the criminal conduct that the federal government is engaged in. People like Jason Isaac Fields relied on. Thought that kidnapping me by the Ontario Police, San Bernardino County Sheriff, and Ontario Police was going to accomplish what was a permanent kidnapping in order to defame my character so they could walk around with my real property, intellectual property, and personal property, i.e. my money. Which this government, these people that say they've been getting money from my property. The demons have been paid to gang stalk me. While they're pedophiles engaging in what is ongoing facilitation of pedophilia. That's what I'm stating. These are literally pedophiles. They're engaging in this gang stalking, and the entity has stolen my money to pay these demons that are gang stalking me, including these gang stalking police departments. They're going to federal prison. These are the demons that are conclusively proven with regard to evidence, because this is how you prosecute. They're under a fake sun, a supernatural environment, which is speaking to malice, by a police department, by a law enforcement agency, by a government body that is assuming that they have legitimacy and no one's ever going to question them. But for the P.O.C., where you are looking at evidence of what is speaking to the irrebuttable presumption of public corruption, where you have established the pattern of conduct which is existing within a specific environment. That is a sun that's over one intersection at 7 in the morning. That's never going to be accounted for regarding daylight savings time, whether it was in 2021 and 2025. But I have annual documentation, not only from 2018 to 2025, but literally on a daily basis throughout the years I've been documenting. And that's what Chino Bernardino, California knows, while the gang stalkers of the Chino police cross path. That's what Upland, California knows, while the demons of the Upland Police Department cross path. The entity is engaging in that while the demons of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department were they're gang stalking in multiple cities. And they know that, while the Ontario police are being taken down. And guess what? The Ontario police are being taken down while you see them stalking in helicopter, while you see them flying in circles. Those are demons that are crashing out for you to witness. That's a crash out, okay? To put it in the, speaking in the vernacular, that is a mental breakdown, and that's relevant to the diagnosis of demons that are going to federal prison. I maintain a body of evidence as well. You can look at the YouTube channel with regard to the organization of evidence in order to both diagnose and criminally prosecute, that is convict, the demon-possessed gang-stalking pedophiles in the state of California. They're exhibiting severe mental illness when they engage in what you now recognize as not only criminal monitoring, pursuant to inhumane means of surveillance, and gang-stalking as an entity. They are doing so in a specific environment, and they engage in demonic pacing. They engage in other words, flying in circles in helicopters. That's severely mentally demented conduct, and the entity does so when it's exceptionally hostile, very much in a frenzy, very much triggered by the evidence that I'm capturing at that moment. And that's also shown through the pattern of conduct where I'll go from getting one video to getting 17 videos in one night. I have been at Holton Euclid Avenue in the middle of the night documenting the Ontario Police Department for years. They're going to be disbanded, and all of their co-defendants just came and participated in this ongoing ritual regarding what is a ceremony, particularly regarding what is a failed sacrifice, that they all know that they're being prosecuted for. They all know, they're all anticipating being exposed on the news. They're all anticipating being called out for engaging in state surveillance, for being sex offenders as an entire police department, for being illegitimate, for being stalkers and not police officers. They're anticipating it. That's what's relevant to them gang stalking under a fake sun. That's intentional, not coincidental, not accidental. They're doing so while I'm capturing very foolish criminal conduct, again, by the imbeciles of the Ontario police. Imbeciles. And the imbeciles of the people of the state. This is not traffic under a fake sun. This is surveillance. All right? This is P.O.C. These are demons that are manifesting. And this is what was stalking in the bathroom. And that nasty pedophile ran out of the bathroom with knowledge, also, knowledge that's exemplified here, knowledge that you're being documented while you're gang stalking in the bathroom, engaging homosexual sexual violence, and doing so because you don't want to be captured on video. That's the demons that are gang stalking here at the intersection, where the entity is stalking Southwest Airlines, engaging in what you already know, engaging in sacrificing an American citizen. They crash planes into buildings and mountains and bodies of water, sacrificing American citizens in the same way that they're gang stalking me. License 9MCC396, license 9RSU008, 7WKH 864. And they're doing so at Holt and Euclid Avenue. Inside of the T-Mobile, I've already documented the entity that is gang stalking on video. This is with regard to the entity that doesn't have any foresight. All they planned on was that their witchcraft was going to work. Okay, that their prayers to Satan was going to be answered, excuse me, that I was just going to drop dead, that I was going to have a mental breakdown because they're psychopaths engaging what is stalking me, and that was supposed to be projected onto me, and I'm going to have a breakdown. Rather, what you're witnessing is a detailed breakdown regarding psychological torture, how it works, and what are the tactics inherent to that, and the purposes of what is gang stalking, how it's executed, and the purpose for that execution. Stalking you in the ways in which the entity is doing through, for example, what you're witnessing, the Upland Police, the Chino Police, the Ontario Police, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, which is the Rancho Cucamonga Police, and doing so through a population that are not strangers. That's shattering a lot of illusions. They're not even strangers. And the evidence of a fake sun remaining over me, showing that they are all under that bullseye, documenting as they are gang stalking with police. I want to be clear. They very much are aware of not only my vagina, 2SSCRUZ, that's another pedophile. They are very much aware of what it is that's being documented, and that's relevant to the demons going berserk, flying in circles. That's speaking of knowledge. Flying in circles, they're doing so in the middle of the intersection while I'm documenting the people that say, how many times is the Ontario Police Department doing that in the middle of the night on Euclid Avenue in Engineer Light? These are the demons that are engaged in that P.O.C. Okay, so this is again a spectacular exposition of mental illness. The pedophiles that are engaging in gang stalking in the state of California, doing so in the city of Rialto. You have multiple municipalities participating in the pattern of conduct here in Ontario with knowledge of the fact that it's being documented. And you're always mindful of the bigger picture. The fake sun is over me in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning, where the same airport is gang stalking over Metro 102 because that's where the fake sun is rising. This is the same block where I'm present at 6:42 p.m. where the fake sun is present. That's 12 hours earlier, okay, where you know that United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, UPS, FedEx, they're American Airlines, they're engaged in sacrificing American citizens. They commit murder. It's terrorism, all right? This is the entity that's engaged in what is gang stalking, and this is P.O.C. It is currently 6:43 p.m. All right, terrorizing with impossible light, LZD045. It's 6:56 p.m. License 7RZT940 is stalking at the grocery outlet, as well as the rest of the entity. And so is the establishment grocery outlet. If you'll recall, the evidence of the specific environment is captured at 12:51 in the afternoon, where the Ontario police that are gang stalking at the intersection of Holt and Euclid Avenue under the setting Fake Sun at Holt travels south to be back at the same venue, which I captured in images where these gang stalkers in the parking lot are stalking together. And they're doing so with knowledge of who I am, while that Fake Sun showing that grocery outlet, the establishment, is stalking, engaging in state surveillance with the government, and doing so. San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department crossing path. The entity, you know that the city of Ontario is gang stalking. You saw them on video, gang stalking, flying over my head at this same venue at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And the entity is engaging what is keeping the Fake Sun over economy in, but somehow it's at where Upland Police and San Bernardino County Sheriff and the CHINO police are crossing path under a whole imaginary environment. But I'm capturing that imaginary environment, showing you the malice of the demon-possessed that are targeting American citizens through the practice of witchcraft, sacrificing them. And it is legally referred to as murder, conspiracy to murder, and doing so by gang stalking, which is relevant to psychological torture, the emotional psychological breakdown. It's essentially psychologically murdering and then also physically committing murder while the entity is engaging in that pattern of conduct. And this is a failed sacrifice that you're witnessing, that I'm documenting in order to prosecute the government in the United States, unfortunately, for this conduct. And you're witnessing the un-American conduct of the government itself that is engaging in a corrupt system, and the un-American conduct of American citizens at the same time, who are engaging in the un-American criminal conduct of gang stalking. And it's also the practice of witchcraft, which is not a fake fable. It's very real. It's as real as that Fake Sun. That's the work of witchcraft. It's demonic. The engineer light that they're all driving in, you're looking at the practice of witchcraft in real time. Movement in that engineer light, you're looking at ritualistic conduct. You're looking at the practice of witchcraft. It's satanic conduct. And they're targeting altogether one person. And that's what the government, as I'm naming off police departments, they're practicing witchcraft in furtherance of committing a sacrifice. And that's legally referred to, as I'm prosecuting, that's conspiracy to murder. And this is an entity that has been gang stalking me, which they literally are admitting to while they are coming all together in Ontario at that intersection under the Fake Sun crossing path, including Upland Police, CHINO Police, and San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. These demons know what they're guilty of, and they also know what's being documented, and they are aware of the implosion with regard to the P.O.C, the evidence to prosecute the government, okay, for terrorism. It is currently 7 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, monitoring me with the state, EA92G05 paper plate, 7ACH358. License 9NYL348. License 7MGX071. You'll recall Delta Airlines gang stalking me in the morning by commercial planes in concert with the people of the state. And this is relevant to proving stalking as an environment, identifying it where demons are sacrificing an American citizen, stalking them obsessively, psychologically torturing them, engaging what is harassing and sexually violating them, and doing so 8THS528 while the entity maintains the sound of sirens. That's audible noise under a Fake Sun. And this is the Fake Sun that is at Philadelphia Street and Euclid, where I'm present in the morning. And then I get on Omnitrans, if you recall, where I was juxtaposing that crime scene, the Fake Sun moving in the bus of Omnitrans when I'm getting on the bus here in the morning. And that was again 7 during the 7 a.m. hour. And I'm capturing it right now at 7:23 p.m. And remember, this is all relevant to what is the same street in Ontario. That's relevant to what the city of Ontario is doing. And it's relevant to what CHINO police are letting you know that they were doing when I documented them, and they know it. That's why they were gang stalking in Ontario under the Fake Sun. What Rancho Cucamonga Police, that is San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, were doing, and they know it. And they admittedly do so while they're gang stalking in Ontario on the same street where the Fake Sun rises and sets, which means that there would never be any sun in Chino, California. But that's not what I'm documenting when those gang stalking agencies, those terrorist organizations, are targeting me. And they're targeting the federal prosecutor. That's a no-no. That's a no-no, including what they did on video, gang stalking under the Fake Sun with regard to knowledge that it's being documented. Terrorists in this country are going to be treated like the enemies, the domestic enemies that they are. And the entity is doing so while they are being made an example of with regard to how domestic terrorism is going to be treated and how American citizens are supposed to take a proper perspective, a proper viewpoint regarding what is absolutely intolerable as the federal government prosecutes it, all right? And this is organized crime, murder committed by the government. That is gang stalking, okay? This is where I'm at, Philadelphia and Euclid, where criminal summoning is underway. The long existing federal offense that I defined to you, that I showed you many iterations of the same. The demons are engaging in gang stalking and facilitation of gang stalking with the people of the state that surround me at an intersection where I'm capturing the same environment, which is impossible, at Philadelphia and Euclid, where they're all proven to be demons who are targeting together intentionally, not coincidentally, accidentally, or ignorantly, which is unreasonable as well. And nor do the people of the state exhibit themselves as such in the documentation. They act with impunity 1 second, then those short-sighted, absent-minded demons who are mentally ill and delusional forget about that evidence, and then they continuously engage in it. Nobody's forgotten it. It's sitting on the record. They've already proven themselves to be demons outside of the pattern of conduct which requires the people of the state. There is no getting out of the P.O.C. and there is no getting out of this prosecution of the U.S. government. License 8 BHL 702, 8 GTM 631. This is Chevron at 2202 South Euclid Avenue, where on the face of my YouTube channel, you will see the terrorism that's underway at this venue as I'm documenting it. And the Ontario police are the ones in a black and white flying in circles over this same intersection. That's what's on the face of my YouTube channel. The terrorism that this entity inflicted upon me at this same venue. And this is impunity while they're still gang stalking. This is all relevant to the federal government's prosecution of domestic terrorists in the United States. It's all relevant. All right, it's currently 7:26 p.m. That's P.O.C.
Alrighty, no surprise, you've got the Ontario Police Department, and this is at the infamous Food for Less Driftwood. They are all engaging in surveillance in concert with the government that's using helicopter to engage in terrorism and psychological torture. And this is, again, while I'm at what is this Jack in a Box right here inside of the Ontario Village Shopping Center. Food for Less is a documented gang stalker while I'm in the grocery store. The Ontario Fire Department engaging in criminal summoning, targeting. The Ontario Police Department stalking by helicopter at the same Food for Less. The entity is stalking at what is the Economy Inn over here, and this is again very specific with regard to stalking me, as the Ontario police are already established as psychopaths who are wasting millions of dollars as a corrupt city, which is speaking to the corruption throughout the state of California, while the use of helicopters is used to stalk one person. That's myself. Okay, this is P.O.C. as I'm walking out. The moment that I walk out of the venue, this is the engineer light. Okay, this has nothing to do with what is the natural light activity. This is the entity that is engaging in surveillance, and this is thousands of people that are stalking together. The criminal engagement in the pattern of conduct accomplished by being in the drive-through in relevant position in the specific environment, and the entity is sharing in domestic terrorism. This is what they're doing under the fake sun all day long on one street in one city. License 7 PLT 839. This is an entity that is gang stalking with the state. These are the demons while they are driving out of the driveway and they're molesting across the street, which is economy, and that's impossible light activity. That is indeed a demon, and that's a stalker. And they're all engaging in that. And that's why the Ontario police, that's the indicator about what all the people of the state are doing. These are the pedophiles that are demon possessed, that are gang stalking in Ontario. And it just is unfortunate because this is the stalking using commercial planes. And this is the direct evidence. There's nothing mysterious, there's nothing vague or ambiguous about the plain terrorism, meaning obvious terrorism that the city of Ontario is engaging in. And this is what every corrupt law enforcement agency is engaging in. Costa Mesa Police, the Orange County Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the Kern County Sheriff's Department, while I'm in Bakersfield documenting the Monrovia Police Department, the Pasadena Police Department, the Chino Police Department, the Fontana Police Department. The entities engaging in this with the San Bernardino and the Upland Police Department, the Rialto Police Department. The entities engaged in this documented P.O.C. while I am capturing the Montclair Police Department. This is what the entity is doing while I am in Arcadia, the Arcadia Police Department, the Azusa Police Department. This is what the Ontario police are engaging in against their co-defendants. They are providing a level of obvious conduct, and this is where the entity has conceded what is a failed sacrifice, and you're looking at the psychopathic pattern of conduct while they are obviously stalking me from place to place in helicopters. But this is speaking to what was the allegations at the first place. Not only is this criminal surveillance by the state, but these are psychopaths. The Ontario police is being disbanded. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:17 p.m. All right, there's Ontario International
flying south. Flying south, this is not going toward any destination. This is gang stalking in the same specific environment. That's called stalking with light in the path. These demons on Euclid Avenue, but also where I'm standing, that's a demon using their vehicle. And the Ontario International Airport is hovering over my hotel room where I'm at Economy Inn. Right now, they're stalking in the path with my location on Euclid Avenue. And they're doing so in this specific environment as the City of Ontario includes the Ontario Police Department and the Ontario International Airport, 2500 South Archibald Drive, but they're not flying over the Open Family Community Library now, where there is also no airport. That is going to be the explanation for the ongoing documentation of terrorism and psychological torture and furtherance of engaging in a satanic sacrifice as a corrupt government. That is the conspiracy to murder, where they're doing so by stalking with the people of the state, crossing path, light activity, audible activity, relevant positioning. These are demons who are stalking with the government, maintaining plane and helicopter activity. The gang stalking immigrants at Motel Inn, they're going to federal prison, because this is what they were engaging on September 25th, 2020. And to have the audacity to then engage in criminal summoning of the Ontario Police Department, A. Morris, Corporal Kim, they were gang stalking. And they engaged in what is a violent act of kidnapping, which I documented via podcast. Those demons are going to federal prison. And this is the same stalking in 2025. They're going to federal prison. This is exactly what I was stating. There is no warrant in that fake case where they were gang stalking, and this is the criminal conduct of the Ontario Police that Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, the federal government, relied on. And A. Morris of the Ontario Police and Corporal Kemp are going to federal prison, just like every other kidnapper with the Ontario Police Department. And target stalking immigrants that are managing this facilitating venue where the fake sun is rising and setting, they're going to federal prison. It's as simple as that. This is P.O.C. It is currently, by the way, 8:21 p.m. where the entity is stalking me. I am Erica Lorraine Spencer, and this is the government that's engaged in what is an exposed sacrifice to Satan. This is witchcraft that the demon-possessed practice, and they are engaging in witchcraft pursuant to what is sacrificing an American citizen in the United States in order to kill them and steal property. And this is what the government is doing in the United States regularly. This is a failed sacrifice. That's why I'm exposing it. That's why you are witnessing the public investigation that I have published on the venue of the internet. And the entity has engaged in ongoing targeting, and that's relevant to the federal prosecution of the United States government, doing so with the people of the state who are not individuals. They're not exercising constitutional rights, and I'm going to prosecute, and it's going to establish precedent with regard to prosecuting the domestic enemy, the state of California. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:22 p.m. That's Alan D. Wapner and Mike Lorenz stalking me using planes and helicopters, one person, and the government's going to be prosecuted for this. This is P.O.C. All right, monitoring with the Ontario Police and the Ontario International Airport, stalking in the parking lot, as you know that they're doing at Economy Inn, license 9JLU859. P.O.C. Yeah, that's the, that looks like the manager in the back seat, but it doesn't matter. That's a license plate. Those are third parties, and they're monitoring. They're psychopaths while they're stalking you with the government, and the demon possessed, as you look at them engaging in that P.O.C., and this is speaking to, again, a whole population that's engaging in what is organized crime, and the ongoing secrecy of that organized crime is blown out the water. It's non-existent. And then you're also looking at the malice of that criminal system. And the level of obvious criminal conduct, obvious targeting by corrupt police departments like the Ontario Police, it's also putting a flashlight. As much of a target is the fake sun on the entity. It's a bullseye for you know exactly what they're doing and who they are doing it to. In the same manner that the Ontario Police, very highly unintelligent, stalking me from place to place. If you were going to try to falsely depict the character of a targeted individual by claiming that they're paranoid, claiming that they're mentally ill, please make sense of the fact that they are literally stalking me from place to place. That's the definition of stalking. These are demons that are mentally sick. They are highly delusional, and they have conceded. Understand that this is Satan that has conceded what is a lost endeavor, trying to sacrifice me, and now the demons are just embarrassed. And you know what psychopaths do when they are exposed for what they never ever wanted to be exposed for which there are very severe consequences under federal law in the United States? They engage in more of that unconstitutional conduct. All right, more of that, which is terrorism, more terroristic behavior. All right, this is it, the entity engaging in terrorism in plain view on video after video, following me from place to place, you have no basis to ever state that an American citizen is hallucinating or imagining it. With this body of evidence, and this is what the government has used to falsely depict the character of American citizens, and it is going to be also the basis to change the laws in this country. The entity is mentally ill while following me from place to place in things such as commercial planes and helicopter, like the city of Ontario is doing, and a whole population of mentally sick people who are demon possessed. Okay, it is currently 8:25 p.m. This is P.O.C.